All right, I believe we are a go. And now we are going to start with our UC CSU Info Night. Itzel, take it away. Itzel, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. So hi everyone, my name is Sjsu. I am one of the admissions representatives / recruiters at San Jose State. Really excited to talk to you about the CSUs and then go a little bit deeper into SJSU as well. And so to start off, this is our agenda. So we're going to go over some of the benefits of attending a CSU, going over a little bit of the process, admissions requirements, impaction, enrollment requirements, admissions, and then mistakes that students make, so do and don'ts. We'll talk about SJSU, and then we'll close it off with a Q&A, a question and answer section as well. And so next up, so we are very fortunate. We have short of 500K students in the CSUs, and we have 23 campuses. Some of our campuses include all the way north from Humboldt to all the way down south to San Diego. We are also really proud that we are able to graduate 125,000 students each year from the CSUs as well. And so these are some of our percentages and the years that are spent as full-time first-time freshmen as well. And so what can a student study at a CSU? So we actually have over 4,000 plus majors that a student can partake in while at a CSU. We have some of our most popular, like computer science, cybersecurity, to some of our most unique ones like aviation, animation and illustration, dairy science, esports, amongst many others as well. There is a website that you all can access, and is the Cal State Apply, where you can select a campus and you can see whether they have your major or not as well. And so the benefits of going to the CSU is that we lead a very hands-on approach, and we're very focused on job placements. So at our campus specifically, we are hosting a career fair every semester where we have employers like Tesla, Google, Meta, a lot of the tech companies, and even places like Stanford Medical coming in to recruit our students. In addition to that, because we are so hands-on, we do have a hands-on approach, a lot of our majors do require students to do an internship in order to graduate, so that way they're a little bit more prepared to enter into their career. We're also very focused on being accessible, and I think that comes hand in hand with us being affordable and just making sure that our students receive the right support services while they're at our college as well. And so we have a couple stuff that are guaranteed that we have for our students. So for example, our students are able to get on-campus housing. Obviously, this works different across the CSU. We always encourage students that as soon as they know they want to go to a CSU, that they end their intent to enroll and fill out their application. A lot of their housing application are due May 1st, and for some campuses it's actually required that the student lives on campus, like Cal Poly SLO. We also have an associated student government, and so what they do is that they advocate for a lot of the needs of our students on our campus. We also have incredible campus job opportunities and sports and activities. San Jose State is actually a D1 school, so they are constantly having football games, and we also have the opportunity for those students that don't have transportation to get from our campus to the South Campus in order to attend those games free of cost as well. And so in addition to those resources, we also have writing centers, career centers, and tutoring service across all of our 23 campuses. And we have a food pantry. So for those students that are maybe facing food insecurity, they can actually sign up for a food pantry at their school. We also have amazing study abroad programs, so the student can decide whether they want to go for a year or a semester. Some students go for a couple of years as well, so that is up to the student's discretion. In that case, where a student is going for more than 1 year, we do encourage our students to work really closely with their counselor at San Jose State to make sure all of their classes are transferable. And as you can see here, this is the new wellness center at CSU Northridge, and it's really cool. They have sleeping pods. They really want to make sure that our students have a break in between their classes, somewhere where they can rest as well. And in addition to that, we do have counseling and psychological services available for our students. And so those are usually located within the medical center at the campus as well. And so as for sports, so we are NCAA Division I for some of the campuses like Fresno, San Diego, and Sacramento State. We are Division II for San Marcos, Chico, Cal Poly Pomona, and we are NAIA for Maritime. There is San Jose State is also part of NCAA Division I under the Mountain West Conference as well. If you ever have any questions specifically about San Jose, but any other campus, they should have a separate sports website where you can get access to some of the coaches and reach out to them if your students does want to get recruited or show some highlights as well. And so we do encourage our students, and I think this is one of the greatest aspects of going to college is living on campus, at least for that first or second year, because there's really convenience where students are able to go back and forth between their classes. They're also able to become more involved because they are on campus, and they're also can increase their academic support because we know a lot of the time, sometimes it is hard when students are commuting. Obviously depends on the commuting distance, but if they're commuting from other counties, it can be a little bit tougher to get that academic support or to have to stay, especially if the student have work and other opportunities also. So we just want to make sure that if it's possible, the student does live on campus. For us, it's not required at all. A lot of our students are coming in from the Santa Clara area as well. And this is some of the housing at Sonoma State. So as you can see here, students at Sonoma State are very fortunate. They have amazing housing. I believe they all get like their own room at their housing. So that is a really cool aspect specifically about Sonoma State. And so at this point, I'm gonna move a little bit away from the student life and talk more about the freshman admission requirements. And so we are, as of fall 2023 and onward, we are test-free admission, so we are no longer requiring ACT or SAT. Students are, however, supposed to meet their A through G classes, and as you can see here on my right hand are some of the subject and the areas that students are supposed to meet. For example, they need 2 years of history, of lab science, and also of a language other than English. They need 4 years of English, 3 years of math. We do recommend 4, and 1 year of visual performing arts and a college prep elective as well. We also, for specifically San Jose State, do require students to have a 2.5 or greater, even to just as the minimum to apply. For California residents in the CSU system, you are supposed to have a 2.5 or greater. If you are between a 2.0 or a 2.49, there may be evaluated like different supplemental factors that are evaluated. However, I would reach out to that outreach team and admissions team because it varies campus to campus. For example, I know that we for sure do not take applications that are under that 2.5. And so the primary factor, so what do we consider for admissions? So we consider your GPA in your completed A through G courses, which sometimes you take, usually it's 10 to 11, but I know for some of you that are taking some advanced placement classes, that includes your 9th through 11th grade courses. We also take GPA in courses taken in subjects relevant to the selected major. For example, for those of you that are going or applying into computer science, we also do consider your math GPA as well. And then we consider the number of academic courses beyond the minimum GPA requirements. So if you have taken any AP, any honors courses, or even just if you have taken more years than you're supposed to of the course, especially if you are a STEM major, if you take that additional year of math or additional years, I think that's something that can definitely play to your advantage as you're submitting your application. Obviously for us, admissions are not guaranteed, but just something to think about as you're selecting your courses, if you are still in the process of doing that. For secondary supplemental factors, we do consider location of high school and educational opportunities available. For example, for those students that are receiving free and reduced lunch, we take that into consideration. We do give a 0.25 GPA bump for students that are in the Santa Clara County. We also consider and give GPA bumps for first generation, low income, foster youth, and military service. In addition to that, we also do ask for students to engage a little bit and talk about their extracurricular activities. So there is a section of work and volunteer experience and different leadership roles that they have taken into account as well. And so this is how it's gonna look like on your students' end. So as you can see here, where students are gonna be able to put whether they participated in AVID, Upper Bound, Puente, Independent Massive Project, and then a couple of other programs as well. And then if they did work, they will also be able to input that, put how many hours they work, etc., any extracurricular programs and hours of participation and leadership as well. And so for those of you, this is one of the terms that we did want to go over because we know, at least for our campus, it does, and for some of the CSUs that your student may be applying to, it might play an important role. And so that is impaction. Impaction is really just as complicated as it is to explain, as it is to understand as well. And so to simplify it, impaction just basically means that our campus is receiving a greater number of applications from eligible students that we are able to accommodate at our campus. And that is at all majors. As you will see here, it depends from the campus. Some of them is across all majors, so it's the whole campus. We have other schools where it's just nursing, and then we have schools that are not impacted at all. And so impacted at freshman level and major, as you can see here, are the following: Fresno State, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Los Angeles, San Diego State, San Jose State, and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo as well. So those are impacted in every major. So that just means the whole school will be assessing their impaction. And so for those schools that are impacted at freshman level are the following. So that is Northridge, Pomona, Sacramento State, San Bernardino, and CSU San Marcos. And then the non-impacted campuses are Bakersfield, Chico, Channel Islands, Dominguez Hills, East Bay, Humboldt, Maritime, Monterey Bay, San Francisco State, Sonoma State, and CSU Stanislaus. Keep in mind that even though those are all non-impacted campuses, there is, for example, majors like nursing that are impacted at Chico at Bakersfield. So that is something just to keep in mind as you're applying as well. And so for transfer pathways, for those of you that maybe are still debating the idea of whether you want to go to 4-year right after high school, or whether maybe you want to do the transfer path, we do couple of resources. So this is resources that are straight from the Cal State Apply website. So we have a transfer to the CSU, and you can access that through calstate.edu/apply/transfer. We also have more information on that a degree with a guarantee with this an ADT, and this should also be available at the local community college that you're going to, or the community college that you're going to. And then we have an associate degree for transfer major and campus search that you can access through our Cal State Apply website as well. If you all want, I am going to give you a couple seconds. Maybe you can go ahead and take a screenshot of this or a picture as well. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and move on to this next slide. So our application does open fairly soon. It is in the next couple of days. So it opens October 1st through November 30th. And this is for all CSU, so all 23 campuses that you saw in the previous slide. It will be available to calstate.edu/apply. Even though we're open to November 30th, we highly encourage students to attend to fill out their application as soon as they're available. It's a pretty straightforward application. However, I know when students try to submit during the last few weeks, sometimes it can be a little bit harder and stressful to troubleshoot some of the technology issues as well. And so because of this, we did want to give you all of like an insight as to what students should be doing, maybe stuff that students should avoid doing while doing the application. So we do have a dates and deadlines website that students can visit where they can see which programs are available at each campus. We also have an overview of the extended profile, which is basically the profile that students create when they're filling out the application. If the student needs help, they can also contact the help center, and it is linked here. In addition to this, we do have a freshman application guide as well. If you need help filling out your application, we also have a fee waiver checklist. So for those of you that are maybe interested in receiving a fee waiver, you can see what the criteria for that is prior to submitting. In addition, when you are ready to submit, we highly encourage you to get your application reviewed, because once you submit the application, you're not able to make any changes. You will have to contact each campus individually and kind of see what they tell you and go from there. And so for the don'ts, so as I said, we don't encourage students to start their application late, because we want them to take their time to be able to troubleshoot any issues and avoid any early stress. We know they are probably filling out different systems of applications, so we just want to make sure that they are able to have an ample amount of time. We also suggest that they use a personal email, because their school email can sometimes sometimes has different limitations, or it has had in the past for different schools. So they should use their personal email, just because that's how they're going to set up their account, and it will be a lot easier to access afterwards and process that application, as that application process are also sent via email as well. We also suggest students have a copy of their unofficial transcripts as they're entering those A through G courses, to make sure that their classes match. We do know that please take in mind that not all classes count. So classes like PE, sometimes life skills, those are classes that unfortunately don't count towards your A through G. So we don't suggest students put them. So don't put them when you're filling out the application as well. And so also don't leave out your in progress. So if you're taking econ next semester, make sure that you are still putting it as an in progress course, because that will count towards your requirements that need to be met. And those will be calculated calculated the total numbers of years towards the A through G requirement. Also, make sure that, again, make sure that you enter all your A through G courses that meet the A through G requirements. Other courses, unfortunately, can't be matched, and we will not take courses for etc. PE, amongst many others as well. And so our application is basically based off of self-reported information the students provides. We do go through an evaluation process where we, in our process, we do make sure that the students' information match their transcript, and that will be the final evaluations that we do, so that students can become enrolled and matriculate into our courses. We use these courses for placement or math and English, and in accordance to the CSU math and English placements as well. And so one thing that I also wanted to include here is just encourage students to check their portal. We are sending any updates through this, and we're also sending majority of our communications. So if the students get chosen for financial verification, this is something that will show up on their portal as well. There is a different portal for all of their campuses as well, so keep that in mind. And so what to expect from the CSU admission process? So we are required to submit the application November 30th. In addition to this, between December and January, you will start receiving information from campuses to create your student portal. We do suggest that if students are able to, that they visit campuses between December and April as they're making their decision. And then between January and February, students should check their portal, see if they have any missing items. And then between February and March, they will receive decisions from each of the campuses. So whether that is admission denial or waitlist. For some of our campuses, you will hear more towards late February, early March. So also keep that in mind. That will probably be more of the impacted campuses. Between March and April, you will receive your financial aid award, if any. And then you are required to submit your intent to enroll by May 1st. And we do have in May through July period where students are supposed to upload, send final transcripts and test scores to the campus that they'll be attending. Between June and August, students attend the orientation at their CSU campus, and they also sign up for the student orientation. And then between August and September, that is the time that students usually start the fall semester. Usually students, most CSUs are with the exception of Cal Poly, which is in the quarter system, most schools will start mid to late August as well. And so if you ever need any resource, you can navigate through the Cal State Apply website. They have an application fee waiver checklist as mentioned above. We also have an admission handbook, which a lot of our counselors use. But if you feel inclined to as a parent, as a family member, you can also feel free to check this out. It is really helpful. It breaks down every single thing. It can be a little bit complicated, and I know there's a lot of information. So just keep that in mind as you're navigating to. And also there is a lot of outreach that is done by different campuses. So if you're ever interested in just talking to a representative, there is you can go and check out the outreach website for that specific campus, and they should be able to give you information. And so in addition to that, we do have monthly updates. This is mostly for our counselors. But if your student is also part of any community organization and they are also having a different mentor, you can also encourage their mentor or their student to sign up for this as well. And so now I am going to dive into SJSU a little bit. So at SJSU, we're really proud that we support more than 25,000 jobs in California, many of them in the Silicon Valley. So as you can see here, a lot of our students do end up getting internships, co-op and post-grad placement opportunities at companies like NASA, Inuit, LinkedIn, Adobe, Zoom, even our own university, as you can see here. And then we have some of our animation and illustration students that are working at companies like Pixar as well. And so in our campus, we have a population of 36,000 students. The average classroom size is 32 students per class, and this is for our lower division class. As we get into our upper division class, we are 29 students per class and 2 faculty member, and this is for our upper division classes. You can also see here some of our stats, so some of our race and ethnicity breakdown that we have on our campus. And also really proud to present you all this information. We actually do have 285,000 alumni, and we were able to grant 10,000 students degrees in the last academic year as well. And so what do we have to offer to you in terms of academics? So we do have 134 majors degrees with 110 concentrations. Some of those majors includes computer science. As you may know, that's probably our most impacted, most popular majors on campus, but we also have other great engineering programs. We have aviation, and forensic science, which are one of our unique majors, in addition to meteorology. And we're actually one of the only schools that offer a packaging major in California as well. We're really proud that this year we were ranked number 4 in top public universities in the West, and that our engineering program was ranked number 2 for best undergraduate engineering program among public universities as well by US News and the World Report. And so for our students, I know we mentioned throughout the presentation that we do have a lot of resources available for our students. So here are some of the resources. We have the Career Center. So the Career Center is one of the ones that I wanted to highlight. So this is really important as students are navigating or even just figuring out where their next opportunity is going to come from. They do host a career fair every semester with a lot of the employers that were mentioned previously. In addition to that, if you're still trying to navigate what your major is, what you want to do what the next step is. We do have assessments that are taken through the Career Center and we have speaker series where you can engage in and just learn a little bit more about different career paths, learn about your skills, how your skills align to different career fields, and kind of make a decision that way as well. We also have a lot of identity-based centers on campus. One of them would be the Chicanx Latinx Student Center. And so they have a lot of opportunities for our students to participate. They sometimes have folklorico. They have a lot of events on campus as well. For our foster youth, we also have the Guardian Scholars as well. And then we have, we just opened a new Asian and Pacific Islander identity-based center on campus as well. And so for those of you that are interested in sports, we do have 20 intercollegiate men's and women's team. And so those range all the way from baseball, basketball, track and field to some of our most unique ones like softball, swimming and diving, track and field. We also have a gymnastics team. If you need any information, trying to find out what the recruitment process is like for prospective students, you can check out sjsuspartans.com, and they have different information available, the coaches information available there as well. And so last but not least, we do have a Cal State Apply workshop. So we know that for some of you, the CSU application might be harder to navigate. So we do have an event that is happening. We have 11 offerings all in the afternoon, I believe. And that registration you can find through sjsu.edu/shore/events. And what we will be doing here is that it will be kind of like this, but not so much focused on the student life aspect and more so focused on just like helping students navigate through the CSU application, looking at each quadrant, what to include, what a student needs to keep in mind as they're filling out the application as well. And so if you want, at this moment, we also have a fall 23 steps to admissions. This goes over all the information in a lot more depth than the one I was able to provide today. And so it really breaks out the first-time freshman process versus the transfer admission process. You can see all of our majors, if there any additional criteria that is needed for any of the majors. So if you want, I'm gonna give you a couple seconds so that you can go ahead and scan this QR code. Okay, so hopefully you all have that QR code. If not, I'll go ahead and leave you my information. We do have some available in person, but I can also send you the link as well. And so yes, this concludes our presentation. Thank you all for coming.